Hey guys, it's Chris here. Let us talk about The Witcher 2, specifically the recent port of The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings from PC to the Xbox 360, which I've put kind of a lot of time into over the last couple of weeks. I imagine that you've worked this out already after reading the title of this video, but I've been very pleasantly surprised with the quality of this port and wanted to share some of the reasons why. Usually when we talk about ports, it's the other way around. We're probably talking about a console game that's gone over to the PC in a disappointing fashion. So to hell with it, I'd like to spend a few minutes enjoying the fact that CD Projekt have done a pretty good job this time around. Now then, why does this port stand out in comparison to others? First of all, CD Projekt haven't forgotten their original player base. Instead of just reworking The Witcher 2 to play on the Xbox 360, they created the Enhanced Edition, which adds all sorts of goodies to the original game, including something like 4 hours of new gameplay, 30 minutes of new cinematics, and some general tweaks to the interface as well as the gameplay itself. This certainly makes the game look more attractive to potential 360 players, but it also made sense to make this available for PC gamers as well. Now, it wouldn't have been out of the question to see this sold as DLC, as this had been in the works for some time, and there are a number of publishers in particular that you could absolutely imagine charging players for this service. Instead, the Enhanced Edition was released as a free update to all original owners of the game and is included with all new copies. Now then, we all know PC gamers can be an opinionated bunch, but that works both ways. Show some respect to your customers and it can be a fantastic piece of publicity for your product. Okay, the Enhanced Edition showed some love to the PC crowd, great, but what about the port itself? Well, importantly for a console, the movement, camera and combat are all well suited to a controller. In fact, I've seen a few people suggest actually using a controller for the PC version as well. The basic controls are exactly as you'd expect: move around with the left analog stick and move the camera with the right. Your four most important abilities are mapped to the four face buttons, that's the light attack, heavy attack, cast sign and roll. Then you can lock, target and block with your two triggers. It's all readily available. However, one complaint that a lot of gamers seem to have with console RPGs are the lack of quick slots. I can't stand it when you have to drop abilities simply because there aren't enough buttons available, which wouldn't be the case on the PC version of the same game. I think the Dragon Age series has unfortunately been an example of this. Thankfully, The Witcher 2 doesn't have this problem. The left bumper will bring up a scroll wheel and allow you to choose from your 5 signs or from the 5 consumable items that you've pre-selected. You are limited to 5 consumables at a time, but this is the same on the PC version, and is intended to make you think carefully about the items that you select instead of being any kind of disadvantage. So yeah, the controller doesn't limit your compatibility, and some may even prefer it to a mouse and keyboard. When it comes to the menus, well, a controller can't match a mouse and keyboard. Although, it's not too bad. You make use of both triggers and bumper buttons to navigate a pretty extensive menu system, and the only place it starts to feel a little bit clunky is when you reach the inventory screen. The Witcher picks up a lot of items throughout his travels, whether you like it or not, and you'll often need to come back to this screen and drop off the heavier ones. It takes longer than it would with a mouse, but that's a pretty minor complaint considering the majority of console RPGs that involve a lot of loot have the exact same problem, and it's certainly no worse than its competition. Finally, The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings Enhanced Edition is a pretty lengthy title for a game, and it's also a very attractive experience on the Xbox 360, arguably one of the best we've seen. Of course, if you do have a good PC, it's going to look better on that, but for those who don't, it's a stunning alternative. I think most people seem to be comparing it to the medium quality setting on the PC, which isn't bad for a 6-year-old console. This is how ports should be done. In fact, I can't even really call it a straight port. They've retuned this game specifically with the 360 in mind, and it's a shame other ports don't get the same level of attention. I'm sure a lot of you PC gamers out there wish that some of the console to PC ports were as good as this. Thank you very much for listening whilst I gushed about The Witcher 2 for a few minutes, and I should be back in a few days with an interview with Antti Ilvasuo, the creative director behind Trials Evolution, so hopefully you'll join me for that.
See you next time.